Hi everyone, I'm Yvonne Martinez and we are back with another community conversation. Today we are going to be focusing on unsolved homicides, specifically cold cases. We are joined here by Commander Pat Duval. He is in charge of our patrol division.
Hello.
Welcome, Commander Duval.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Today we're talking about cold cases. How many cold cases do we have on the books here today?
Currently, Cocoa has 24 cold cases.
And these cases date back to when?
The 70s.
1970. Any one of them stand out in particular for you?
Yeah, there's a couple that stand out. Mary Cobb was one in the 70s that actually Commander Hankins, who's retired now, he worked that a couple of years ago. There was some new evidence that came up, and he started working that. Unfortunately, the evidence didn't pan out, but that was one.
As you were working CID for a long time.
Yeah, I was a detective in 2004, and then I got promoted and went back at the CID in 2009 as the sergeant over CID, and then I was up there as the lieutenant over CID, and just left out of there recently.
So a big part of your career is investigating these homicides.
Correct.
So it's December of 2022. And I want to focus on one case in particular. We always visit this case in December because it's an anniversary date. And we're talking about the case of Jonte Thomas. He was shot on December 9th of 2016 as he drove home from celebrating the Cocoa High School football team's state championship victory that year. He was driving back from Palm Bay with a friend.
Yeah, he had two friends in the car. They were in Palm Bay. They were coming home. It was late or early morning, and he was northbound on Fisk Boulevard, and the witnesses in the vehicle told us that they saw a vehicle coming up behind them at a high rate of speed. They made the left on the Mitchell, and the suspect vehicle continued north, and as the vehicle was passing Mitchell, there were several shots fired at Jonte's car, striking him in the head, and ultimately crashed at the end of Mitchell and Pineda Street.
So Jonte did not die that night. He went to the hospital where he recovered, but several months later he started having seizures and developed complications and died in May of 2017 as a result of complications from that shooting. I want to play an interview we just did with Miss Anita Gibson. She is Jonte Thomas's mother. Every year she faithfully comes in here to tell us her story and share with us. This time she's coming in and sharing with us an update about how she's doing, how she's feeling, and what she's been doing. So let's listen.
My name is Anita Gibson. The date of December 9th, 2016 is when my son Jonte Thomas was shot with an assault rifle in the back of his head. Right now, to date, during the Christmas holiday, December 9th comes and it hurts, but it's now an okay pain that I feel for him, and I will never forget him. I really want a cold case unit in Cocoa, Florida, not just for me, but other families like me, mothers, fathers, or relatives per se. And I would love for us to get together also on a grief session. Maybe once every 3 months we'll get together and talk about our grief, the murder, whatever. We could cry about it, we could laugh about it. But right now, myself personally, I'm at peace with what happened to Jonte, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is in control. He's in control of my life, my death, my movement, and others that are like me. Gun violence, how do you stop that? Gun violence is very prevalent now. People are hurting now. The holidays is a hurt because a relative, a friend died during that month. But just know that God is in control. Be all right with it. Myself personally, right now to date, I feel good. I know Jonte is always in my heart. He's always on my mind. I'm to the point now where I can smile a little more, I can cry a little less, but I want everybody to know that God is in control. And I was asked a while back, a few months back, what would you like for Christmas? What I want for Christmas is for somebody to tell me what happened with Jonte truthfully. I don't want rumor control to say, I think, I guess. Tell me as a friend, as a person in the community, that I feel that I am a community person. I reach out to others that have lost loved ones to gun violence. And if you know something, it's not a matter of I'm snitching, I'm going to go to court, and there's a possibility that I'll be in trouble with somebody hurting me because I'm telling the truth. The truth is the truth all by itself. And my number one thing is, for Christmas, I want to know what happened to Jonte. Let me move on. Give me that gift. I want the truth about what happened. Going forward, as far as justice, that's something that is on the back burner of my mind. What's on the front of my mind and my heart is to say, Miss Nita, whatever you call me, let's talk. This is what happened. Go forward. What do I want? I want peace. I want a cold case unit in Cocoa, and I want to know that families such as myself, to know that life goes on, and to know that you're going to hurt. And it's really okay to say sometimes, I hurt, I don't feel good, I don't want to talk about it, this is not good. But the bottom line is, talk about it, smile about it, and know that your loved one loves you and you love him or her to the end of time.
Okay. All right, Commander DeVal, so Ms. Gibson is wanting a cold case unit here in Cocoa. What does that look like?
Yeah, Ms. Gibson is very passionate about having a cold case unit here in Cocoa. She's shown up at council meetings several times, indicating to council that that's what Cocoa needs, and I know Chief Collier as well. He's also passionate about having a cold case unit here. Hopefully, in the near future, we were able to get a unit together, whether it's one detective or 2 or 3. But I do feel that it does serve a purpose in following up on these crimes and solving some of these cold case homicides.
So we've done a lot of work, cold case type work, with Jonte Thomas's homicide investigation. Have we
Yes. Yeah. Miss Gibson, like you said, has been very passionate about her son's case, and she has consistently followed up with us, provided, some requests about cold case. She even looked into the sheriff's office, specifically the sheriff's office in the state. They developed a cold case unit that is comprised of several different sheriff's office, and we actually reached out to them, and unfortunately, due to COVID, they weren't looking at those cases anymore. However, we reached out to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and they were willing to look at our case. They gave it to their homicide detectives, and we had a meeting, and they suggested some things to look into.
Could be even, we don't know it, but he could be already in jail for something else. This is more, I think, of bringing closure for Miss Gibson and her family.
Yes.
Just to know what happened.
Right.
So Miss Gibson has become an advocate against gun violence, trying to find ways to stop the gun violence. And she has joined with a group, I think it's Moms Demanding Action, something similar to that, as far as educating kids at home and families on gun safety and how to stop the gun violence and stopping things before they escalate. How do we in law enforcement combat that type of crime, type of criminal activity?
It's hard. It should start at home, at the level of the parents, and parents being involved in their kids' activities and just bringing the knowledge to them about the dangers of a firearm. A lot of times, the gun violence in this country it's at the highest peak it's ever been. and a lot of it is young people using firearms. They're very easily to get attained. People are leaving their vehicles unlocked with their firearms in there. They're leaving them in a residence where it's being burglarized. So that's part of it. The other part of it is the legislation needs to come up with stricter laws. And when it comes to gun violence, we need to take a stand in this country and not allow these people to be, committing violence, gun violence, and on the street the next day.
You're talking about something beyond the 3 strikes you're out kind of
Yes.
thing. So if you commit a crime with a gun the first time, the penalties should be stiffer.
Yeah, I think, you're seeing all this violence across the nation. I think we need to look at it as far as education and like I said, starting at home with the family values.
Right. So back to where we talked about 24 cold cases, unsolved homicides in our city alone. Details about this case and all the other unsolved homicides are available on the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's website under Unsolved Homicides. You can go in there and search by agency. You just type in the keyword or click on Cocoa Police Department, and then all of our cases, most of our cases will show up there, and a detailed summary about those cases. So if there's anybody that has information as you're looking at that, what do they do?
They can call Crime Line if they want to remain anonymous, and provide the information that way, and they could get up to $5,000 for the arrest and conviction of a suspect in a homicide. Also, they can call the Cocoa Police Department, Detective Division, if they have any information on any of those homicides.
And I want to just remind people, though, people like Ms. Gibson, that these cases, while they're not solved, that doesn't mean they're closed. They're just cold, right?
Correct. They're assigned to a detective. Every case is assigned to a detective, to where the detective is responsible to periodically go through that case, update the family, check in with the family, just make sure, letting them know that we haven't forgotten their loved ones.
Okay, so we don't have all the answers, but we're certainly trying, and that is something that our detectives do on a regular. They're very passionate about it too, so they want to find the answers. Commander DeVal, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today and sharing your insight into these cases.
Thanks for having me.
On behalf of all of us here at the Cocoa Police Department, my name's Yvonne Martinez. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.